So Paddy Pimblett and Benoit Saint Denis taking place on UFC 329 and McGregor vs Holloway 2 as the co-main event. And I know this fight is still like 2 months away, but I thought I'd just give my early opinions on it because this fight, from what I see when it got announced, there's been a lot of like saying, "Oh yeah, Benoit Saint Denis is probably going to destroy Paddy Pimblett." Some people think Paddy Pimblett's going to win, but I want to give my thoughts on this fight. So first of all, I'll just go right off the bat. I'll tell you who I think is going to win this fight. In my honest opinion, I think Paddy Pimblett is going to get the job done against Benoit Saint Denis, and a lot of people are like, thinking about it this way, a lot of people are just thinking about the Justin Gaethje performance and how an out of prime Gaethje was able to who didn't look that great was able to piece up Paddy Pimblett and beat him through 5 rounds. I think that's what people are mainly looking at from that makes their narrative for this fight, looking at that Justin Gaethje fight. But honestly, in my honest opinion though, Benoit Saint Denis I think would have been finished by that Justin Gaethje. That's my opinion. If he fought in the same manner against Justin Gaethje like Paddy Pimblett did, scrapping wise, I think Benoit Saint Denis would have been KO'd. Because first of all, we know that Paddy is a granted chin. He's been clipped with hard shots. And we know he has great durability. Okay, he has great durability, and for him going 5 rounds with Justin Gaethje, eating all those shots, being able to scrap with him, it was a great fight. And being able to survive getting dropped 3 times and still eating solid shots throughout the fight and not quitting, that takes a lot of heart, a lot of toughness, and just a lot of durability. It just takes a lot of that. And I honestly, I don't think that losing to Justin, even though I know a lot of people are picking Ilya Taporia to beat Gaethje, I still think it's a bit of a tough fight for Ilya, a tiny bit. I had Taporia winning, but Justin could give him some problems. Justin, I don't he hasn't really showed much to make you say he's out of his prime. Like Justin Gaethje, I still think is a very high level fighter. Of course, he's not okay. I shouldn't say maybe he's not in his prime, but he ain't washed. That's the thing. Justin Gaethje's not washed, and I still think Justin Gaethje's very high level. He's one of those fighters. He's kind of like a Sean Strickland in a sort of way. He's like a Sean Strickland in a sort of way where it's like he's every time, because I think Gaethje's been an underdog for a lot of his past fights, right? He's been an underdog his last six. I think he's been an underdog 5 at his last 6 fights, and he's won them. So it's okay, Gaethje does kind of get counted out a bit. Against Paddy, he was the underdog. He won. I think against Fiziev the first time, he was an underdog. He won. I don't know about the second time. I think he was also I don't know if he was an underdog that time, or maybe he was. I'm not sure. He was an underdog against Fiziev. He beat Fiziev for a second time. Dustin Poirier, the rematch. He was the underdog, I think, and he knocked out Poirier. Gaethje is usually kind of counted out, and then he always wins. He always performs better than people think he is. I don't know. It's always been a thing with Gaethje. It's kind of like with Sean Strickland though. It's just these guys always count them out for some reason, and they end up just always putting on incredible performances. But yeah. Anyways, enough about Justin Gaethje in this video. I'm just using this as an example of why people think Benoit Saint Denis might beat Paddy Pimblett, because they're looking at that Justin Gaethje fight. But first of all, I think that Benoit Saint Denis would have been I think he would have been KO'd in that fight against Justin Gaethje if he fought the same way as Paddy Pimblett did. First of all, we've seen Benoit in scraps before. He does usually start to break. If you can start to see him wear a bit in those fights. We've seen him against Dustin Poirier. He can get cracked in the chin pretty easily. He doesn't have the greatest defense. He can get caught pretty easily. Kind of like with Paddy too. Benoit could clip Paddy with some good shots in this fight, but I do not think he'll KO Paddy. I think Paddy has a pretty solid chin, or not a solid chin, an incredible chin, where it's come on, if he was able to survive all those shots against Gaethje and fight through it for 5 rounds, I think he can survive Benoit's. And anyways, yeah, you can see Benoit start to wear down. He has been shown that he can get knocked out, he can get rocked. And I think when these two fight, if they scrap, let's say if it gets into a scrap sometimes, I'm gonna lead to Paddy winning that. And I think it's 5 rounds as well. I think 5 rounds, Paddy has the much better conditioning. I think he has the better durability and all that stuff. And I think if they were to like get into those scrappy moments, Paddy would get the better because Paddy isn't a bad striker. I don't think he's a bad striker. Um, not the greatest striker. Okay, like I think a lot of people are starting to overrate his striking a bit going into the Gaethje fight, but his striking isn't bad. It's not shit. There is just some holes in it, but I don't think Benoit's striking is all that great either. And if it goes to like scrapping, I think Paddy can get the best of him in there and start to like believe me, he will eat some shots too, but he'll take it better than Benoit. He'll take the clean shots better than Benoit. And Paddy does have some power in his hands. He does have some power. And then also the main thing Benoit has is grappling. Benoit has great grappling. Paddy also has great grappling. Paddy also has amazing grappling. So I think overall in this fight, I think Paddy, when it gets to like, if it goes to like later rounds and doesn't get finished early, I think Paddy will have that edge in that fight, and Benoit will be the one starting to wear and tear. And I think when it goes to the grappling, I think Paddy holds the upper hand in that too. Paddy is a really great grappler. I don't know why he didn't really go for any takedowns against Justin Gaethje. I think he was very confident in his hands, where it's like didn't want to go for any like later in the fight when he started getting like beaten up. That's when he went for takedowns, and Gaethje was rolling with that fight. So he wasn't able to get those takedowns. But if he got the takedowns of Gaethje, I think there would have been some serious problems there. And I honestly think he'd give Benoit a bunch of problems in the ground. Like I know Michael Chandler isn't the best example, but remember Paddy Pimblett beat Michael Chandler the best way out of every fighter Michael Chandler's lost. So I know this is not the best, like this isn't the best example to use because Michael Chandler is literally like 2-5 in the UFC. But Charles Oliveira ended up getting dropped by Michael Chandler. I know Oliveira gets dropped by everyone. He got dropped by Michael Chandler, and um he was able to survive and then KO Chandler in round 2. Justin Gaethje also a great scrap with Michael Chandler. Gaethje ends up winning, but Chandler was looking pretty good in that fight too, bringing the fight to Gaethje. Dustin Poirier, I think he was losing that fight up until that submission he hit it with the rear naked choke he got Michael Chandler with in round 3. And who else? Who did he fight after that? Oh yeah, he came back against Charles Oliveira again. Nearly beat him in round 5. I know they were mainly back to the headshots, but Michael Chandler put up a good fight to Oliveira too. And went 5 rounds, and then he fought Paddy a few months later, and Paddy looked really good against him compared to those other guys. Like there wasn't really any flaws with Paddy in that fight besides getting taken down a couple times. And he did get clipped with a few shots, but it wasn't as bad as the other fighters that beat Michael Chandler. He looked very good. I know it isn't the best example, but it means something, though. It does mean something. When you're the best guy, when you're the guy that beat really Michael Chandler the most impressive way out of Poirier, Gaethje, and Oliveira twice, I know it isn't the best example, but, it could still work and it could at least show something. And I still think Paddy Pimblett's a danger. I don't, like, people say withered Gaethje. I don't think Gaethje's washed. Like, I know he's out of prime, but come on, man. Like, I still think he gives Topuria some problems. And I think if Gaethje was washed, like Gaethje's not washed, guys. That's a horrible take. There's a difference between being out of prime and washed. Gaethje still has the skills. He's not washed yet, and losing to him, I don't think is that shameful. And I think Benoit would have been chinned by him. And I think just overall between these two, Benoit Saint Denis and Paddy Pimblett, when this fight happens, it's gonna show. I think this fight just shows who's the more tough guy. That's what it shows. This fight, because they both have incredible grappling, Benoit and Paddy. I think Paddy is the upper edge in it, though. But they also have that, like, mid-striking where they kind of get caught in the chin a bunch, but Paddy, on the other hand, is the more tough guy. He can take him more, and he could survive through fights getting caught in the chin, while Benoit doesn't take clean shots as good as Paddy, and, and honestly, I think Paddy should go for some body kicks in that fight. When Dan Hooker was hitting some body kicks on Benoit, I think I think Dan Hooker was hitting some good body shots at Benoit. Benoit started looking like he was getting hurt until he TKO'd Dan Hooker. I think that's what Paddy should do, go for some body shots in this fight, mix it up a bit in the feet. And I think he should be, if it goes like through 5 rounds, I think Paddy's got it. I think he does. And I know mainly this video was talking about like Justin Gaethje a lot when I'm talking about Paddy Pimblett versus Benoit Saint Denis, but it's true. I needed to put the Justin Gaethje fight in this because that's what people are like that's what they're getting their opinion of Benoit beating Paddy due to that Justin Gaethje fight. When really it has like there's really no points in that Gaethje fight where like Benoit would definitely beat Paddy. You know, it's just like you know what I mean, guys. Like it's just if Benoit fought that Gaethje, I think he would have been KO'd. If he fought the same way Paddy did, and yeah. But anyways, that's just my prediction for now. Paddy Pimblett versus Benoit Saint Denis. I do have Paddy Pimblett winning this fight. I think by I could say maybe round 3, ground and pound TKO. I could totally see that. I could see Benoit just being gassed, and also that Moicano fight when Moicano um took down BSD quite early and started ground and pounding. Also, Paddy could do something like that to Benoit Saint Denis. If Benoit makes a little, if he goes to like, if he makes a little mistake against Paddy in the beginning, and Paddy can get the dominant grappling exchange, he could get Benoit in a position where like Renato Moicano did. You know what I mean? He could do that. He could that Moicano fight. I'm just remembering now that makes me more confident with Paddy Pimblett. Paddy could just like really damage Benoit ground. Like I think he's going to be a ground and pound TKO. I don't think you see him submitting Benoit, but I picture maybe in like round 3, Benoit just getting beaten up. Like they've been scrapping a bit. The exchanges are finally getting to them, mostly out of Benoit, and then Paddy gets Benoit down and then starts to ground and pound TKO him, just like how like he did to Michael Chandler, elbows, all that stuff. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, that is my prediction for now on the fight, Paddy Pimblett versus BSD. It's happening UFC 329 on McGregor versus Holloway 2, that card. And yeah, this fight's gonna be great. It's 5 rounds, which I love, and I can't wait for this. Paddy Pimblett versus BSD. That is the end of my video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and peace out.